Welcome to Chronicles. We're your hosts, Dylan and Isaiah. We kind of go over all things NBA, news, standings, uh, award races. I say let's get right into this first episode.
All right. Start with league overview. You want to start with East or West?
I've got the West pulled up. We can do that.
Get the West pulled up. All right, hold up. Let me flip around in my handy dandy notepad.
Go ahead.
All right, so we got OKC sitting at 15-4 right now at the 1 seed in the West. What are we thinking about them?
I mean, I think they're just clearly the best team out West. I think as much as Boston is clearly the best team in the East and dominating everybody else, including the Cavs, who we'll get to, the Thunder are right there. I mean, they like mirror each other almost. It's ridiculous. The shooting that Boston brings is almost matched by OKC, and the defense is, I'd argue, better than what Boston can pull out there. So,
I think. Oh, my bad. Keep going.
I think they're the best team in the league, or the second, whichever one you want to put forward first works with me.
All right, and one thing about OKC right now is they're missing Chet, and they're still 15-4. So
Caruso also is not shooting hot, and they're still dominant with him, bro. Without him, with his cold streak.
What are they? Is Hartenstein? Yeah, Hartenstein. Is he starting?
He just came back. He's their starting center after having 6'6" Williams out there playing center for like 2 or 3 weeks and still having this ridiculous record. It's crazy.
Sitting at 15-4, Holmgren. I can't ever say his last name right. Chet. He's missed about 10 games now? 10 or 11 games?
Fucking most of the season, I'm pretty sure.
10, 11 at this point. Sitting at 15-4 still without him. You could just only think when he comes back, they're gonna be even better. Caruso can get hot, be even better, especially on the defensive end. So
Chet's a stretch 5 who can play defense. He's exactly what you want Cat to be, but he isn't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. All right, what do we got?
We got the Rockets.
Oh, okay. You take it.
My bad.
No, you good?
14-6 with the 2 seed.
Okay.
They are 8-3 at home and 6-3 away. I mean,
all right.
They are putting together this season in spite of Jalen Green, showing that he truly is just not a star caliber player, and Fred VanVleet being inefficient like he always has been. I don't think he's ever had a season shooting over 40%, but he is a leader, I guess.
He's a good locker room leader, a good vet.
But the Rockets 14-6, I don't think anybody saw this coming into the season, being the 2 seed this early on.
I definitely did not.
I had them as like the 10 or 9 seed sneaking into the play-in before the season. So
to be honest,
they just have a lot of.
I didn't watch a lot of Houston.
A lot of talent, man.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even know they were the 2 seed. I don't watch a lot of Houston.
Really?
They weren't. I don't want to put them down, but they weren't this talented, a season or 2 ago. So they weren't really. I wasn't really putting eyes on them. But to be sitting at 14-6 right now in the 2 seed, I might have to start watching them a little bit.
I haven't been paying attention to them much, despite having a Rockets jersey on. I am not a fan, so I haven't really been paying attention to them.
We put on some throwbacks today.
Yeah, we got the T-Mac. Shout out my dad. Let me have this.
I got the XXL Harrison Barnes. But I'm not a Mavs fan. This is the only time you're going to see me wearing a Mavs jersey. I hate the Mavericks. I'm a Suns fan. Devin Booker MVP. All right. All right, what do we got? The Warriors at the 3 seed, sitting at 12-6. They are coming back down to earth a little bit. They started off the season very hot.
In their last 10, dude. They are 500 in their last 10.
Buddy Hield specifically started off the season very hot. But like I said, they're coming back down to earth. But I think they could keep the momentum rolling. I think even though Buddy Hield, dropping back down, he's still a shooter. He's still going to get you buckets. He's
Mm-hmm.
still going to get you, 15, 14, 16 a night, whatever you need him to do. He's going to go out there and play. So, and you got it.
I think it definitely helps that he's not their starting two guard.
Mm-hmm.
He is coming off the bench for them. He's basically their sixth man.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of guys that they rotate in and out. Steph. What team? They lost to a team the other night, and Steph played under 30 minutes. It was
I believe
ridiculous.
it
They
might
lost
have
by
been
like
the
4 points.
Nets. Was it the Nets?
Mm-hmm.
I think it
I
was the
think
Nets.
so.
I think Schroeder had 18 that game. I believe he
Mm-hmm.
had 18 points that game.
They have a lot of guys they can kind of rotate in and out. So if Buddy Hield's
Mm-hmm.
not shooting hot, you throw in somebody else who hopefully will be shooting better. But I don't see them holding the 3 seed at all.
They're a good
I
team,
think
but
they are good. I think
it's
the
going to be
5 or
kind of
6
hard,
seed is
especially
where they're going to be.
it's going to be hard in the West to maintain that 3 seed with teams
Oh,
like the
for sure.
Nuggets, the Lakers, the Mavs, potentially the Clippers at some point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, what do we got next? At the 4 seed, we got the Grizzlies. I haven't paid a lot of attention to the Grizzlies, but they are, what I got, 13-7 this season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about the Grizzlies. I haven't really been watching them. I know Edie's been playing pretty well, but I think last I heard he got injured. I don't know if he's still playing though. I don't know if he was a permanent injury or what.
He'll be back. I think he's just out for a couple games. But yeah, they've been good. They are exactly what I thought they would be. Is just kind of hopping back in with Ja and everybody else healthy or mostly healthy. They're coming back better because they have somebody who can rebound now, which is something they didn't have last year because Jaren Jackson Jr. cannot pull rebounds down, but he's looking like their best player this season. And I'm not saying that Ja isn't going to pick it back up and start averaging 28, 30 a game, but JJJ is averaging like 23 on really good efficiency and looking like their first option, at least for now. I definitely credit him for the 13-7 record that they have. My biggest gripe about them is they don't utilize Desmond Bane as much as I want them to. And he was their best player last season. He was kind of the tank commander. But what is he? What?
Desmond Bane. He's putting up 14 points, 6 rebounds a game, and about 4 assists. So I mean,
I think they could be utilizing him a lot better. I think he's a great on-ball player.
Putting up better stats last year. Mm-hmm.
Way better.
Last year he was averaging 24 a game, almost 24 points.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's sitting at about 14 a game. So one thing I do want to specifically talk about on the Grizzlies is Marcus Smart. What is going on with Marcus Smart? Marcus Smart doesn't look good. He hasn't really looked good. If he's been injured, but is he in the rotation? Is he not? Does he play? Like I haven't seen anything about Marcus Smart this season. I don't know what's going on. I mean, they traded for him.
I don't think he's shooting over 30% from 3 this season. I think this is a shooting slump from him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought acquiring him was going to be perfect. Next to Ja, you have this off-ball 2 guard who can really play defense and just hunker down and help set that defense next to Jaren Jackson Jr. And he just hasn't been that he's been a liability on offense to the point of not being able to throw him out there. He had a good game the other night. He did have a good game the other night, but other than that game, he hasn't he hasn't done much. And when he was on the Celtics, he would do too much sometimes. I would watch them, and it was like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum on your team, and Marcus Smart is taking the last shot for this game. Like, this is not what he needs to be doing right now. But I don't know. I think he'll pick it back up.
This season, he's putting up. He's putting up about 9 points, 4 assists, about 3 rebounds a game. But he is shooting 38% from the field.
Yeah,
shooting 38% for the field. Shooting 32% from 3 and 85% for the free throw. So his numbers look good.
That 32 came from a
20.
boost the other night because he hit like He hit like
Mhm.
fuck like 6 or 7 threes. I think he had like a 35-point game. It was crazy.
He had a 25-point game the other night. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
The Pistons. Now, I don't want to put it
Hey,
like that, but
don't
it's the
sleep.
Pistons.
Don't sleep this season, bro.
I'm not sleeping. Hey, Cade looks good. Cade looks good, but at the end of the
Hey
day, it's
man,
still the Pistons. And they
I
haven't
don't know. He's
really.
out today.
They look good. I'll
He's
put it like
out
that. They look
today.
good. They do look
They've
good this
looked
season.
better. I don't know about good, but they've looked a lot
They've
better than
looked
what
better.
they were last season.
Better would probably be the perfect word choice for that. They do
Mm-hmm.
look better. They got Bickerstaff, right? They hired
Mm-hmm.
Bickerstaff
I think.
in the offseason.
Let me check
They fired
before.
Mon
Let me
Bickerstaff.
check before I
He's
lie.
turning them around. He's trying. I'm pretty sure it's Bickerstaff. I'm pretty sure. Let me continue with Marcus Smart. Yeah, he's really not shooting well. I mean, he's got
Mm-hmm.
a 0-point game. He's got a 6-point game. He's got a 9-point game. He's got a 7-point game. I don't know. Maybe he's just lost confidence in his shot, or maybe he's just not putting up enough shots, or I don't know. I feel like he's kind of lost in the rotation essentially. And then
Mm-hmm.
they got some guys coming up. Scottie Pippen Jr. is having a say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he didn't do much on the Lakers. I don't know if he was on Memphis last season. He might have been in their G League, but obviously this season he's balling out. I think he's averaging 12 a game. I don't know what his other stats are, but it's the Grizzlies. I'm not watching them like that, but
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, it's kind of hard when it comes to Marcus Smart when they have Desmond Bain, John Morant, Scottie Pippen Jr. I think they got a rookie or second-year players, Wells, maybe Kalen Wells, I believe,
Rookie. He's a rookie.
rookie
Yeah, because he's in a lot of rookie of the
or
year talks
Jalen
right now.
Wells. Jalen Wells.
Jalen. Yeah, yeah.
So
He's in a
I mean,
lot of rookie of the
he's
year
playing
talks.
the three, but I'm sure he could play the two. I wouldn't,
Mhm.
I'm sure he could play the two.
The
So
anybody who can play the 2, 3, and 4 is like those are essentially the same position nowadays. DeMar
yeah.
DeRozan was playing power forward for the Bulls last season. So
So I mean, I'm just saying with the Grizz, what happened to Marcus Smart? Like I'm just lost. I'm
mm,
lost when it comes to Marcus Smart. But I feel like we might have spent too much time talking about the
nah, it's the Grizzlies, man. It's
Grizzlies.
Memphis.
What is Memphis?
Ooh,
At the 5 seed, we got the Nuggets sitting at 10-7 with
a lot to say about
Jamal
them.
Murray not being his best. Jamal Murray not playing his best. The team, I don't want to. The team kind of falls apart without Jokic on the floor. Let's be real. But Jokic on the floor,
It reminds me of those KD Warrior teams because
mm-hmm,
as soon as Steph was no longer on the court, they could not win a game. They would go
mm-hmm.
on losing streaks for like 4 or 5 games in a row with Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. Or not Bradley Beal, sorry, Klay Thompson. Yeah, my bad. They would
But
have
I mean, yeah,
KD
it's
and
just
Klay Thompson out there running the offense and couldn't find a way to win. It's not
mm-hmm.
like the Nuggets don't have talent without Jokic out there.
They got plenty of talent.
Christian Brown has been a hell of a player. Michael Porter Jr. is, I mean, 6'9", 6'10", knocking down threes like he does.
I think Michael Porter Jr. I think he's kind of up and down when it comes to MPJ. He's up and down. Some nights he might go out there, and then some nights he might go out there and give you nothing. So, I mean,
I
like you
feel
said,
like
they got a lot of talent. But my big gripe is Jamal Murray. I believe he got paid this offseason, and he is underperforming at a very high ceiling, or not ceiling, but underperforming very highly right now, I guess you could say, after getting paid. So, I mean, to be sitting at 10-7 in the 5th seed, Jokic is doing a lot of carrying, I would say. So,
yeah,
but,
I mean, he's averaging like what 38 a game or something, or he was for he had like a week of averaging 38 a game, like a 38 point triple double. And I don't even think they won out those games. I don't even think they won out those games. I think they had like a couple losses. Yeah,
Yeah.
this
Let me
season
let me
he
pull his nuggets
is.
stats.
I got it. I got it. This
Oh,
season
okay.
he
Yeah. So
is
he's averaging almost 30.
29.7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 29.7, 56, almost 57% from the field,
Mm-hmm.
53% from three,
He's
13 boards, 10
whew,
assists.
buddy is going out there and carrying. But I mean, that's what he
And
does. That's who he is.
I mean, yeah, but
That's
you
why
would
he's
hope
MVP
that a
race every
30
year. That's
point
why he's 2 times.
you would think a 30-point triple double would be better than 6 and 4 in their last 10 games.
Yeah. I mean, they got a lot to pick up. I mean, they acquired Westbrook. Westbrook's been pretty decent for them this season. I wouldn't say he's been the best, but I mean, he's what 17 years in, so
That's my goat. My
you're
goat.
not getting prime Westbrook. He's been pretty good for it, but I think the
Mm,
biggest issue with them right now is Jamal Murray, and he's not playing at the level he should be, especially after getting paid.
mm.
But I mean, the season just started. We're 17 games in, for at least for the Nuggets. 17 games in, there's still plenty of time for him to turn it around and you know
We'll see.
do
I
what
don't
he
know how
do
much
what
I want
he's
to.
supposed to. So
I don't know how much I want to bet on Jamal Murray this season. He's been shaky at best. Uh,
I don't I don't hate the guy, but I'm not a Jamal Murray fan.
hmm.
I'm not actively watching Jamal Murray games, but I'd give it to him to probably turn it around this season at some point. Maybe not immediately, in the next couple of games, but I'd give it to him to turn it around this season. I mean,
Hmm.
he's not a bad player by any means. Even right now, I mean, he's still giving you numbers. He's still going out there and playing. It's just not the numbers we're used to from him.
It's not the level that we are used to seeing out of Jamal.
Yeah, it's not. But I mean, I don't like to be that guy, but I'm a believer in when people get paid, they really don't feel like trying anymore. And maybe that's the case. Maybe it's not the case. That's just how I am. I've seen a lot of people get paid and then they just go out there and don't try, or they go out there and they
CD
really.
Lamb.
I didn't say it, but yeah. I mean, yeah, and it's just. I mean, I don't know. We're moving on from the Nuggets.
Lakers.
Let's move on to the Lakers. The 60 Lakers and 8.
They are
AD
11 and
carrying
8.
LeBron. LeBron is LeBron. LeBron's gonna do LeBron
Le-
things, even though he hasn't looked as good. He's old,
he's
so.
he's got like 6 or 7 triple doubles on the season, and that is
Mhm,
with a step back. That is
mhm,
ridiculous. I mean, and I don't think either of them are really the biggest story on the Lakers right now. I think the turnaround that JJ Redick has had with this team is, I don't want to say it's historical because they are just the 6th seed, but going from how
yeah.
bad they looked last season and these couple of seasons with chill guy, hand in the pockets, salute, go out there, compete, play hard, salute. Having him at the helm,
hmm
man, it just was not good. There was no offensive plan before. Uh, they still struggle defensively because they don't really have anybody who can defend out in the wing,
hmm
but they
hmm
look a lot better. And with Anthony Davis as the focal point of this offense, finally, which is something that they have been saying they've wanted to do since they traded for Anthony Davis, they look so much better. I don't want to say they're contenders, but I mean, to me, they're more of contenders than the Warriors and the Nuggets are right now. I don't trust either one of those teams to
hmm
go into the finals and make anything happen. The Lakers, it's hard to bet against LeBron,
Yeah.
even at you know 40 years old, or he's about to be in like a month or whatever.
Almost 40 is 40. 20 years in. I mean, he's still the face of the league. I mean, he's
Mm-hmm.
LeBron. He'll always be LeBron. So, but off of what you said, you don't think they're super contenders yet. But it's not trade deadline yet. But I really think if they ship D'Lo out and get a good package for D'Lo, they will solidify being playoff contenders. D'Lo's a
Hey,
good player, but I just don't think he fits on this team. He really
D'Lo for
hasn't
Dennis
since he came
Schroeder,
back.
straight up. D'Lo
I
for
mean,
Dennis Schroeder.
I'd do it.
Send him back to
Send
the
D'Lo back
Nets.
to Brooklyn.
Send him back to the Nets.
He was only All-Star on the Nets. Different coaching at the
That
time,
Nets team
but
was
he had his only All-Star appearance.
that Nets team was fun.
The Nets team was fun.
That Nets team was
Jared
really
Dudley.
fun.
I always loved Jared Dudley. I used to love watching the Suns go out with Jared Dudley. Jared Dudley getting prime minutes at his old age, getting 10, 15 minutes a game when he's sitting on the bench or when he's 30-something years old. Jared Dudley. What a guy. What a stud. All right. Should we cap it at top 8 seeds? Because there ain't really much to talk about after the Clippers. I mean, you got the Suns, Spurs, T-Wolves all sitting around the same 9 through 12 or 9 through 11.
I think we can do at least just shout out the teams that are playing.
Mm-hmm.
Mavs. There's a lot to say there with Luka struggling as much as
Luka's
he
out
has.
too right now, so
Luka's out. It's Kyrie ball, and it's kind of worked. I mean, they're 6-4 in their last 10. Najee Marshall looks good.
He looks great.
Looks
four
good, dude.
20-point games. I don't know if they were back to back, but 4 times this season. I mean,
Najee Marshall looks.
He looks great on the Mavs.
He looks good, dude.
And I think they got him for a good contract. So
Kyrie's kind of backpacking the team right now, and I think for a chunk of the season that could work, but they're not going to be contenders with Kyrie at your number one.
Yeah, I mean, you got to.
That's
Luka
really
back.
what they want to go for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you need Luka back in shape, and I say you sit him for as long as you can and stay alive because his knee is obviously still not healthy.
Is
for
it
that
his knee
run.
or is it his hand? I read that he had an injury to his hand on his shooting hand.
Well, it's like every night his knee starts bleeding again, like in the finals.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw a picture of that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It could be both, and that might be why he's not shooting well and he looks slow and he can't play defense. He could never play defense, but it's even worse this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Mavs. I mean, they're going to be contenders regardless. I mean, they're going to be top 8. So
if you have Luka Doncic, it's hard to say that you're not going to do anything in the playoffs. But if he's not healthy, that's a completely different story.
And I don't. I'm not the biggest Luka fan, but I like to see him on the court. I like to see him play. So get well, Luka. That's the only time you ever hear me say that. I don't really like the guy, but I like to see him play. So the AC beat up the Clippers. 12-9, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They look good. They started off hot. They really did without Kawhi.
Really.
Mm-hmm. And I think like we said with the Warriors, coming back down to earth. I think they're coming back down. The Clippers are, but they still don't look bad.
I don't know what the numbers are, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think James Harden and Zubac is the best pick and roll duo in the NBA right now. I don't know what the numbers are. It could be Austin Reeves and Anthony Davis still because I know they had like a really good streak when it came to the pick and roll for a while. But Harden and Zubac look ridiculous, man. Like they are built for each other.
I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people talk about Chris Paul being, a guy that makes the centers look good, but James Harden does make his centers look good. He made I believe Clint Capella was an all-star, I believe, with Harden.
No, but he looked good. I think he was putting up like 18, maybe 15.
I mean,
he was good. He's putting up good numbers with Harden.
So
he made Capella
Harden makes
really good.
And Zubac was already a good center. We're not going to discredit it. He's a good center. I mean,
yeah.
So I mean, but
without Harden, he was.
He looks way
without
better.
Harden, he was like a double lock pretty much every night. I think he averaged like 11 and 9 or 10 boards. But with Harden, I mean, it's perfect. He can set screens and he can roll to the basket. That's all you need to do to be good next to Harden, and he does it at an elite level. So I like Zubac. I like the Zubac Harden.
If Kawhi ever comes back at some point this season, they'll look even better. And then I like the Chris Dunn pickup this offseason. I like the defense that Chris Dunn provides. Chris Dunn's a great guy. I personally wanted the Suns to get him, but he's a great dude. And as much as I don't want to say it, we're not KPJ fans here. All right, we're not We're not super, but he looks good. He doesn't look horrible on the Clippers, but I mean, I think it might have been a good fit for him. He's putting up,
Yeah, I
what you
mean,
expect him to put up, but he doesn't look horrible.
in strict basketball terms, yeah, he's a good basketball player. He has
Hmm.
been his whole time in the league. Uh, that's all I want to say about him. I don't want to praise him any more than I have to, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's still in the league. We're not even gonna talk about him no more.
Yeah,
But
we can move
no,
on
but
to
Derrick Jones Jr. looks good too.
mm,
He looks great.
hmm
I think the Clippers got the pieces to put it together. Like I said, they're coming back down to earth. But I think with if Kawhi will ever
they
come
have
back, they have
they have
the
a
ability.
really they have a really big hole in the size of a really big hand that is just missing.
I mean, if that big hand ever decides to show up, which is not his fault. I mean, he's injured, but
Yeah,
he's been injured for a while now. I mean,
San
is he ever coming back?
San Antonio tried to say something, but
Well, like I said, I hope we get Kawhi back this season. Like I said, the Clippers have the pieces to put it together. They just need Kawhi back.
hmm,
That's their biggest issue right now. And then we got the Suns. Do we really want to talk about 9 through 15? Just
I I want to talk about it only because I want to talk about
Suns
it
look
only
good with
because
all three of their big.
I think it's very clear that KD is the best player on this team. And I think going into the season, a lot of people had a toss up of like, is it Booker? Is it KD? Who's going to be the first option? Who's going to lead this team? Kevin Durant is showing his age in the best possible way. You are seeing like the
Mhm.
veteran basketball knowledge that he has. And I say that, and most of his shots are dribble, pull up into a two, and he's walking into 30 every night like that.
I mean, even for his
I
age, he's MVP race. I mean, he's
yeah,
top 10 MVP race
that,
at his age. I mean, he's still Kevin Durant. And I
mhm.
mean, like you said, I don't like to say it. I still think it's Book's team. Obviously, Book's been here the longest, but when you really think about it, they're nothing without Kevin Durant on the floor. And Bradley Beal too.
Mhm.
Bradley Beal looks great this season after the whole being out last year, going the whole off
He
season, coming back actually healthy. He looks
is
great.
he almost 40% from three this year?
Uh, you might have to look that up real quick.
I got it. I'll pull it up.
But I mean, like I said, Bill, he spent majority of the season last season injured. I think he played less than 40 games for us last year, and
Mhm.
it's not his fault. He's injured, but to sitting out all last season and then taking the whole off season to get right, get healthy, he
Oh,
looks great. He looks great
oh
this
my
season.
god, dude. Dude, he's 50% from the field, 37 from three. He's efficient right now.
It's the Brad Bill we know, the Brad Bill we saw in Washington. I mean,
I always forget he was like a 30 point per game scorer. He
hmm
was he like led the league at one point.
yep. I mean, it just took him getting healthy. It's all he needed to do was get healthy, and he just I must have been a lingering injury or something that kept him out for so long last year. And then, like I said, throughout the offseason, gave him enough time to get healthy, come back, do what he was supposed to do. But I'll put it like this: the Suns look good with the big three on the floor. Without the big three, the Suns do not look that good. And get Nurkic off my team. I'll leave it at that. Get Nurkic off my team. All right. You know what? I'll let you take away the 10. We got the Spurs sitting at 10-9
All right.
here. What do you got?
Just despite my jersey, I am a Spurs fan for those listening or watching, whatever y'all want to do. 10-9, a 52% win percentage. We are 6-4 in our last 10. We are so much better than we were last season. And I have to thank Chris Paul for every bit of that. I mean, he makes this offense click beautifully. And we got to see a little bit of it with Jones as our point guard, but that was only when they played him. And now they have Chris Paul, who is one of the best point guards of all time. Even at this age, he's what, 39, 38, almost
I
40
believe
years
so.
old, putting up 10 and 11 or 11 and 10, something. he has made our team click in a way that I didn't think we would be seeing for another like 3 or 4 years. He is the exact player that we needed next to Wemby to help develop him. And Wemby is taking a leap that I didn't think anybody would see coming. He started off really slow,
Mm-hmm.
taking way too many threes and not hitting them. He wasn't in the paint very much. And now he's averaging, let me pull up his stats because
No, yeah. He did start off slow, and I saw a lot of people talking about Wimby maybe not taking the next big leap that he was supposed to take, and I think a lot of those people might be eating their words right now because it
people
just took
said
him a
the same
minute.
thing. People said the same thing last season whenever he started off the season slow and
Mm-hmm.
everybody was like, "Oh, maybe he's not the rookie of the year. Maybe it's Chet. Maybe it's Chet." And then he exploded in the second half of
Mm-hmm.
the season. Right now he is 23-10 on 47% from the field and he's shot 41% from 3 in the last 10 games he's played.
Mm-hmm. So
This dude is 7'4", shooting
not bad.
41% from 3. Not at all. Not bad at all, dude.
He's
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 averaging
exactly what everybody wanted him to be.
he's averaging almost 4 blocks a game.
Gee, whew. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
This
I
is this is
that's
like
crazy.
this is a huge leap from a guy who, we thought would have a huge leap. I
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think 41% from 3 a streak like that. He's shooting 33 on the season, but I mean, his shooting is ridiculous. As
Mm-hmm.
much as I do want to see him get down to the paint more and get his efficiency up because 47 or 30, 47 from the field is not as high as I would like it to be. I mean, he's 7'4" Kevin Durant. He's Yao
Yeah.
Ming with the 3-point shot. It's hard to complain about that. It's good to be a Spurs fan right now,
Yeah. I
especially
mean,
after
they're
these
above
last couple
500.
seasons. Especially after these last couple
So,
seasons, man, it is good to watch watchable basketball.
all right. We got. Is that it? Is that everything you got for Spurs?
Yeah, that's
All
the
right.
West. We might fly through the East a little bit more because a lot of the teams are a lot worse, and we've been on this for 30 minutes. Oy.
All right. So we're gonna jump. We don't. I don't think we really got to talk about the Timberwolves, Kings, Trailblazers, Jazz, Pelicans. They're
Nah,
they're. You want to learn about them? Look about
we'll talk.
yourself. All right.
We'll talk about them when they jump into the playoff race.
All right. So over to the East, we got the Cavs sitting at 17-3. Very much to talk about the Cavs, except they're elite this season. They're
I
crazy.
mean, a
The Donovan
14-game win
Mitchell.
streak.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and to
14
be
game
fair,
win
they
streak,
lost
man.
to the defending champs. There's not a better team to lose to be honest.
They lost
So,
to the defending champs with a bad Darius Garland game.
mm-hmm.
If Darius Garland had a good shooting night, we don't know how that night could have turned out. I'm not going to
Yeah.
say they would have won, but you get a bad game from your second or third best player, arguably, and you're going up against the team that's been the best team in the league consistently for the past 3 years at the very least.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, the Cavs they're elite this season, and I mean,
Mm,
even their bench is elite. You got people like Ty Jerome coming off the bench, giving you 13 points a night. What he's got to do, I mean, the Cavs are all around just elite. I mean, there's
mhm.
nothing really much to say about them except they're elite.
We have
Uh,
the Celtics at the 2 seed sitting at 16-3.
mm-hmm.
I mean, defending champs. They brought back every important piece. I think they brought back like 12 out of their 15 guys from last year.
Mm-hmm.
So they're back and they're doing exactly what we thought they would. They're dominating the weak Eastern Conference and they're probably going to walk into the finals again. I don't know if they're going to win it. There's good competition out west this year, but they might walk into a finals series with no issue, man. They're 16-3. They're the best shooting team in the league. They're a really good defense. Peyton Pritchard looks like he's taking another leap. coming off
In
their
person
bench,
looks great.
which, I mean, the Celtics are the best team in the league, despite what the standings say. As much as I love the Cavs and Donovan Mitchell, I don't think they would survive a series against them in 7. So,
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, you got guys on the Cavs. You got Jared Allen, you got Evan Mobley, but I mean, you got some defense. But I mean, the Celtics just got so much shooting to go around, so much scoring, so much playmaking. Kind of impossible to lock down everybody on the Celtics. And then like they got Drew Holiday as well. So Drew Holiday's Harlan or Mitchell or both, depending on what his assignment is. He's guaranteed to shut him down a little bit. And so I mean, I don't think they'd survive a series against the Celtics either. But I think it'd be good basketball. It could be great basketball.
oh yeah,
But
yeah.
and the Celtics recently they got KP back, Tingus Pingus. They got Tingus Pingus back. So I don't know what he's doing, but I know he's coming back off injury. I haven't caught a Celtics game since he came back, so I don't know what his numbers are since he came back. But I mean, for the
I
Celtics,
haven't
it's
looked
good.
at
You add him back.
I haven't looked at his numbers at all, but watching games and watching highlights, I mean, they're right back into where they were last season. They did not skip a beat at all.
Mm-hmm. Yep, not at all. And like I said, I mean, to be 16-3 without him, and then he's coming back now. It's like when the OKC, they're 15-4 without Chet. Obviously, Chet played a little bit of those games, but they're 15-4 without him. Celtics are 16-3 without Porzingis, and I don't think Porzingis has played at all. I'm not saying he's coming in and he's going to be MVP All Star kind of player, but he's going to help you out tremendously. And to be already sitting at 16-3 without him, I mean, there's nothing more. You're just going to get better. So
the Celtics don't have a lineup that they can throw out there without shooters. Every single player that they have can shoot the ball at
they
a
really don't.
near elite level. I mean, you go out there and Jaylen Brown is your worst 3-point shooter. That's a flex. No other team can say that level of shooter is their worst shooter.
I mean, I don't want to see another Celtics finals, but I mean, I'd put money on it. That's how confident I am in the Celtics. I'd put money that we'd see the Celtics back in the finals this season.
Yeah, I
It's just
really
they
don't
look
see
great.
any other team out east competing with them.
The East is just so weak, but let's move on to the Magic. 14-7. Paulo's out, but Franz has jumped up tremendously with the Paulo injury. You think he's putting up 27 now a game, or is
Mm-hmm.
averaging 27 a game? So I mean, I think the Magic can keep it up if Paulo can come back, and Franz still can play at an elite level alongside him. Because before Paulo went out, he wasn't putting up 27 a game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got him in fantasy, and I was damn near ready to trade him because he wasn't he was not doing well for me. And then I don't like talking about people getting injured, but Paulo gets injured, Franz takes that leap that he's supposed to take when there's nobody next to
Mm-hmm.
him. But that he can continue on with that leap, and the Magic I think would still be contenders. I mean, I don't think they're going to the finals, but they'd be contenders in the East. I mean, it's there's not very many teams to pick from in the East, but I think they look good.
I don't think it'll be this season, but I think next season we're gonna have serious talks about
Yeah, I
whether
don't.
or not the Magic want to keep both Paulo and Franz. I want to wait and see if they can continue their play together on the court. But if they
Mm-hmm.
can't, and if it's like Paulo comes back and suddenly Franz is back down to 18 a game on bad efficiency and he's not getting the shots that he was before and he can't get to his spots anymore, I think we're going to talk about trading away Franz to maybe be the second option on a player that fits him better. I think both of them would be
Mm-hmm.
a lot better with a lead guard, like an elite lead guard.
Yes,
But
yes. I mean, they're both forwards, correct? One's power, one's small.
Mhm.
They play the two
But
and the three, and I kind of fluctuate them around in some positions. But
yeah, they essentially play the same position. they're both really talented
They're
wings
mainly
who
forwards.
can create
Yeah,
themselves. Hmm.
I do agree with you. If they
But
could get maybe not a superstar guard, but if they can get a guard in there that can do what a guard is supposed to do, they'll look good. But obviously, you're going to have to give up one for a guard. So,
I think I think next year we're going to see a Franz to the Warriors mock trade eventually, and maybe they give up
mhm,
like Wiggins, who is a good wing who can shoot the three ball, which is exactly what
mhm.
you would want next to Paulo, who is a really good point forward. I think it depends on who the Magic believe the better player is, just
I mean,
who they think could be their franchise. Being a wing that can stretch the floor and play defense, which is exactly what you want
mhm.
next to Paulo.
Yeah, I like
But
that.
beyond that, there's not much to say about them. They're good. They've been good. They're not contenders, but they're a fun team to watch, and they're probably going to give, a contending team a headache in the playoffs.
Mhm.
Jalen Suggs, really good. New Drew Holiday, good defensive guard who can, kind of play bigger than he is and fairly consistent on offense.
Why'd you have to yawn? All right, so we got the Knicks at the 4 seed, sitting at 11-8.
Weirdly disappointing and good at the same time this season.
Yeah,
Their offense is amazing. They have Cat, they have
mhm,
Brunson.
the
What's
big
his name?
bodega.
OG Ananobi has been
Hmm.
balling off. Yeah, they got Big
I
Bodega.
think, I think, I think Macau is or Mikel. I love Mikel, but I don't think he's looked good for them this season. And they gave
He
up a
hasn't
lot of
looked
draft
like he's
capital.
worth. Yeah, he hasn't looked like he's worth all the draft picks they gave up for him.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
love the dude,
I don't know.
but
I don't like betting against him. I think
I
he'll
don't
be
like
good,
betting against him either.
and no matter what, he's gonna bring value to a team. He's a
Hmm.
great defender.
Hmm.
His defense hasn't really slipped. The only reason their defense isn't as good right now is because of Cat. I think a lot of that is OG and Mikhail having to make up for Cat's mistakes on the defensive end. So then
Hmm.
the wing, the perimeter is left wide open. Teams can hit a ton of threes on them if OG Ananobi is not guarding them. You know,
Hmm.
but
I mean, it's really the
Knicks are the
only.
Knicks.
I mean, they're going to make the playoffs. We know they are. They're too
Yeah.
much talent to not make the playoffs. Too many stars.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, in my personal opinion, the only thing that's really going or not looking good for them is the defensive end of the ball, and then Macau. I just or Mikel. I
Mm.
just don't think he's worth. He was. I mean, I think he send him back to the Suns. I give you a first round pick for him. All right, I give you a first round pick, but I don't think he was worth. What was it? 5 first, I believe.
Something like that. It was a lot of
I
draft
don't.
capital.
Right now, he doesn't look like he was worth that many picks.
Mm-hmm.
But same thing with Jamal. There's 82 games in a season, so I mean, there's time for him to turn it around. Still, we're still early on into the season. So, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's the East. They're gonna make the playoffs, and that's really all there is to the Knicks. They're gonna make the playoffs.
It's hard to
Yeah,
not make the playoffs in the East right now. It's kind of
it
funny.
really is. I mean, unless you're the Wizards and you're 2-15, but
Yeah, but capture the flag, baby.
all right, so we got the Heat at the five seed. They're 9-8. I
I
I don't
think
really know
they
anything
are
about the Heat.
only. I think they are only in the playoffs because they're in the East. They don't look like a
I feel like
competitive team this season.
they're pretenders. I don't think they're
Yeah, they
and
they
especially Bam.
from.
He's not regressed, but he's not. He hasn't taken the leap forward. You know what I mean?
Hey, I saw him hit a three last night or 2 nights ago. I tuned into the end of a game and he hit a corner three.
Was it garbage time? Were they winning or did they lose?
It was a close game.
I mean, I really don't think the Heat are. I really think they're
No.
pretenders. And like you said, I mean, it's the East. You don't really have to be that talented. I mean, the ninth seed in the East is 9-11. Or 6 through 9 each have 9 wins. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and 5. The
I,
Heat have 9 wins
five
as
through
well.
nine.
5
Yeah.
through 9 have 9 wins. Each team has 9 wins. So I mean, and the Pistons have 9 wins, and they're the 10th seed. So I mean, I don't think the Heat are real contenders. And if they do, I think they get bounced in the first round. I don't know what's
Mm-hmm.
going on with Jimmy Butler. Normally, you hear all kinds of things about Jimmy Butler. I haven't heard a peep about Jimmy Butler this season. I haven't heard
You
a
got to think,
word.
man. He didn't do any off-season shenanigans. He didn't show up to conference day with crazy hair.
Mm-hmm.
I think that threw him off his game. He should
I
have
think
came
he's
back in
checked.
with the emo look.
I think he's checked out with the Heat. To be honest, I think he's checked out.
I think he's just regressed.
Regressed.
Yeah,
He,
because I
honestly, it
really
might be a little bit of both. I
I
mean,
don't think he would check out. One, he doesn't seem like the type of player to check out. He seems like if he doesn't want to be there, he's gonna embarrass the other team. He did that with Philly. He did that
mhm.
with Minnesota. I think if he really didn't want to be there, we'd hear a trade request or we'd hear something in the locker room of him, you know, pulling a J.R. Smith and throwing soup at a coaching staff. You know,
I forgot about that. No, but no, yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, and like, so maybe he just
I think
hasn't checked out. Maybe he just is regressing. But I mean, he's still Jimmy Butler, and they paid him all that money to come out and be Jimmy Butler. And so, I
he
mean,
hasn't been.
he just really hasn't. And, I mean, somebody who has looked good though is Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero does look good, but Tyler Hero's looked
I
good in
was gonna
the
say
first couple of seasons.
he's like 25 a game right now. Like
He
he's
does look good. He really does look good. But I mean, it's hard to. One person can't carry that team by himself. So either
and
Jimmy's got
how
to
far can you go? How far can you go with Tyler Hero as your best player? Like honestly,
down the block, go down the street, I guess. But I mean, Jimmy Butler's either got to step it up and return, or Bam's really got to take a huge leap to help carry the team. One's got to happen because if neither of them happen, the Heat are going to fall out of playoffs. I mean,
cooked.
it's kind of hard to fall out in the East, but they're going to figure out a way to fall out of the playoffs in the East if one or the
I th-
other doesn't happen.
I think it's worse if they make it because then they don't even get a decent draft pick.
They really don't,
I
and they
think
get
it's worse if they are just mid, like if they end up as the 7 or 8 seed or the 6 seed, even, which is very real.
yeah.
And
I mean,
they
they end up with
just are a
the
mid.
draft pick.
They're a mid team with like the 20th pick. Like that gives you nothing for the future. And yeah, they're great at drafting, right?
Mm-hmm.
They pick up great guys, but when's the last time the Heat have drafted that guy, the one of one? You know, it was Dwayne
2003,
Wade. It was
2000,
Wade.
whatever year it was. Dwayne Wade was it
You're waiting.
2003 or
You're
three?
waiting on a 2003 era draft to pick up a guy that can bring you a championship.
Darko Milicic went in second or third that year in 2003. So I mean, you
He
don't
went
always get
second
bangers. Yeah,
right after LeBron.
what a crazy time. I was one, but I mean,
I
yeah,
I was
the Heat just.
I, I wasn't born yet. I wasn't born until July, or maybe I was barely born.
I was born in '02, so I would have been almost one. Been
Mm.
almost one when the great LeBron came into the league. We got to quit talking about LeBron. But I mean, yeah, the Heat can only get so far with Tyler Hero being your best player. So, like I said,
Hmm.
somebody's got to step it up, or they're going to get washed out in the East. And it's kind of hard to get washed out in the East. But get the Bucks, the 6 seed Bucks, 9-9.
Uh, they are better than what they were for the season.
They came out the season 1-6. Start the season
Horrible. They were
horrible.
hor. I think their only win was on Damian Lillard game winning three
Sounds like
against
that.
like a non competitive team. I think it was the Nets or Pistons. It was like a team that they should not be going neck and neck with.
Mm-hmm. The thing I got with
Giannis
mm-hmm.
Giannis still looks great. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to be bad with Giannis Antetokounmpo as your best player, but if anybody's gonna figure it out, it's Darvin Ham and Doc Rivers.
No, I think the Bucks. It's about the same thing with the Clippers. They have the pieces. They're just not putting the puzzle together right. I mean,
Mm.
Brooke Lopez, I think, has regressed a little bit, but I mean, that's what you're going to get from. He's old. I mean, he's up there. He's not Brooklyn Nets Brook Lopez, but I mean he's still Brook Lopez. But I
Hey
think he's
man,
regressed a little.
that's the franchise leader in points right there.
Yeah, and then we haven't seen Chris Middleton this season at all. So you got to think when they get Middleton back, they'll probably be slightly better. Bobby Portis has been good off. I think it comes off the bench. So Bobby Portis has
He's their
been
sixth
okay
man.
off the bench, but Gary Trent doesn't look that good, but he doesn't look that
I
bad.
I thought he was going to be a really good pickup for them. I thought, oh, Gary Trent is next to Giannis in the paint and Dame on the perimeter. He's going to get open looks. He just hasn't hit them at the clip that you want to see him hit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, he doesn't look good, but he doesn't look bad. I mean, they got him on a cheap deal. I'm pretty sure they got him for like a year, a couple million, $2 or $3 million.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean,
he's a
not
cheap player right now.
He's not something they should be stressing about. And then I do like though that they did play some of the young guys. They're putting the young guys in, figuring that out. So I mean, they're 9-9. The East really isn't too competitive. They got Giannis, they got Dame. They're gonna make the playoffs. It's kind of like a Heat situation, almost like a Heat situation where everybody's got to start stepping up, or you're gonna get washed out too. So.
I think we say everybody has to start stepping up. I think it's two people in specific. I think it's the two people sitting on the sideline with their hands in their pockets.
That's a good duo.
I think Doc Rivers needs to learn how to be an NBA coach again. And he just hasn't been a good coach since Lob City Clippers?
Something like that. I mean, honestly, I think he still gets jobs from the 2008 Celtics ring, but other than that, I mean,
you look at his resume and it's like, oh, he's made the conference finals and he has a ring.
Mm-hmm.
He had Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett. If you don't win a ring with that team, and Rondo. He had almost peak Rondo.
Mm-hmm.
Almost peak Rondo, man.
You got to win with that team. I don't know. I don't know what Doc Rivers, and honestly, I didn't understand it last year. Firing, what was his last name? I forgot the coach's last name.
Adrian Griffin.
Adrian Griffin. They claim it was a Giannis decision, but who knows?
And he wasn't a great coach for them.
He wasn't the best.
They were the two seed.
They were winning games, which is the most important thing. They were winning games.
Yeah.
And then you fire him and you bring in Doc Rivers and you start 1-6 this season, and you got Darvin Ham and Doc Rivers looking like twins on the bench, arms crossed, hands in their pockets. I mean, like, you guys got to stand up and do something. I mean, Giannis is I think it's make or break for the Bucks. I think they got to do something or Giannis is out. I said Jimmy Butler's checked out. If the Bucks don't do something, Giannis is going to be checked out. He's going to want to be gone. I mean, he's already mentioned it before. He's talked about it.
I think he's going to love San Antonio, and I think Jeremy Sohan is going to love Milwaukee.
You're funny. I don't need him in the West.
Salivating.
I don't need him in the West. The West is already too difficult. You got to.
I need him.
You got to keep something in the East. All right, you got to give the East something.
Giannis has been on a small market team his whole life. I don't think that's going to change. I think he's going to go to another small market team. I know this place out in South Texas that has beautiful houses for sale right now.
I don't think he's going.
Giannis, get ready to speak Alamo, buddy. Let's get it going.
All right, who we got next? We got the Hawks. They're 9-11. They got one specific player. Oh, 10-11. Did they win tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're 10-11.
I believe so. Yeah.
They got one specific player that has been really good this season, and then the rest of the team is.
I would say they have two guys who are doing what we wanted them to. Trey, not so much. Jalen Johnson, really picking up from last season, just being a good basketball player, a good defensive wing.
Actually, I forget. They have Dyson Daniels too, correct?
Who is probably he's yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know if he's still on track, but I know for a while he was on track to have like double the amount of deflections of anybody else in NBA history.
He looked good for a solid minute there. I don't know if he's still keeping it up or not, but he looked good. So that's what I was referring to when I said they have one good player.
Dyson Daniel stats. He is
One player that was not.
13 and a half
What's what
on
I'm looking for here?
43.9 from the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, just he's a good player, you know? Kind of wasting
I mean,
on
yeah,
the Pelicans
he's,
bench
he's,
for the
he's
past couple
stepping
years,
up.
but he got the opportunities, ran with it.
I mean, like, there's not really much to talk about with the Hawks. They got a couple good players.
Mhm.
It's the Hawks. You're gonna have Trae Young. The East is really just a kind of it's that team, and you know what they have, and you know what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of
No,
that's really how it is in the East.
beyond the Magic still being good without Paulo and the Cavs being as good as they are, there's no real surprises other than
Not really.
like, oh, the Bucks are bad, you know, and we
Mm-hmm.
saw that last season, so that's not even that much of a surprise. The
Yeah,
Pacers, I think I know what to contribute their their rough start to the season too.
mm-hmm. They got a couple
I
injuries to start out the season, so I mean,
hmm
they lost two of their bigs. I think in back-to-back games. They
hmm
lost one. They lost Wiseman was the first one to go down, and then Isaiah Jackson went down. I think the next game. So I mean, they are missing some depth off the bench. So
I think Tyrese Halliburton playing
some
like himself
important
on
players,
home
I would say.
games. Tyrese
Mm-hmm.
Halliburton playing like himself on home games, and then anytime he touches an away court, completely disappearing as a basketball player. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it's playing through injury or just being more comfortable at home with a home crowd and a positive crowd.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like two different players. He looks like, yeah, I mean, he's just inconsistent now.
Yeah,
It's one game is great and he's got 39 and 4 on really good shooting, and the next game he's 2 of 11 from deep. Like he's up and down. He's up and down more than anybody else this season, I would argue.
and once again, I tie that in with the Jamal Murray, Jimmy Butler. He's got plenty of
hmm
games to try to turn it around. But
hmm
I mean, if he looks good at home games, then you know he still has the ability to do what he needs to do. He just has to take what he's doing on his floor at his home and move into somebody else's home and do it. And so
hmm
I mean, he has what it takes. We see it at the home games. So like I say, 82 games, he's got the time to turn it around. I'm sure he'll figure it out. But
I don't think they'll end as the 8 seed. I think Atlanta and Miami are worse teams than the Pacers right
mhm.
now, but we'll see.
All right, should we scrap the rest of the East? The rest of them are, you got
Yeah, I
except for the
mean,
Pistons.
Brooklyn
Let's
Pistons.
talk about the Pistons a little bit.
The Pistons look better than they did. Cade has spacing now,
Mm-hmm.
and it sucks that the spacing he has is Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway Jr.
Mm-hmm.
But he has spacing,
Yeah.
and because of that, he's allowed to operate. He's allowed to get the buckets he wants. He's game to game right now. He did not play tonight. I
Did they
know I
win
have him on
tonight?
fantasy. I don't know. Let me check.
If they won, they should be 10-12. They should be creeping up to 500
hmm
if they won. But if
Yeah, I
they
think they
didn't,
would be right. I think they would be right at 500 almost.
yeah, they'd be 2 games uh, below 500 if they won tonight,
Let me see.
which is
Nope,
good
they
for the
lost.
Pistons. Oh, they lost.
They lost against Philly. We,
Ooh, who was the top scorer for
but
them? Cade was out though. You said right?
for
He didn't play.
yeah, Cade
Okay.
was out. Ivy started. Ivy ended with 15, 2, and 5 and a steal.
Okay.
But no, Cade. I mean, he's Cade Cunningham. He is an all-star level talent, possibly all NBA in the near future. On a bad team, a team that really is not built to win right now.
Mm-hmm.
Your second best player is arguably Jaden Ivey, who I think is a good NBA player. I don't know how well he plays next to Cade Cunningham. They both seem like guys who need the ball in their hands a lot and need the mid range to be open to allow them to create.
Mm-hmm.
And neither one of them is necessarily all that great from three. Uh, Jalen Duran is up and down. Some games he looks like, oh my god, Dwight Howard is reincarnated. In other games, it's Andre Drummond. So
Hey, Andre Drummond get you a board or two, all right?
he'll, he'll come off the bench. He'll come off the bench and get you 15 boards, but he's not going to do much else.
Yeah, I mean he's just there. But we got the Bulls 8-13. Ain't really much going on there. It's the Bulls, the
They
Hornets.
are losing like they want to.
Yeah,
Good for them. Hornets, LaMelo looks good. Trey Mann
yeah.
looks good. Brandon
Trey
Miller
Man
looks
looks good.
good.
All three look good. I mean that's a solid
Beyond
trio, but
beyond
the
that,
Hornets.
like they're just not going to be a competitive team yet. I think they're going in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. They're going in the
But
right direction.
the Raptors, probably the best bad team to watch on basketball. They
Mm-hmm.
stay competitive and they stay in close games, and some they've won 5, but they are tanking.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think it's exactly what they need to do. They're allowing RJ Barrett to get comfortable and ball out for his season. Uh, they're getting reps for a lot of guys, and they are staying competitive despite being as bad as they are. I like it.
Yeah,
I like watching them play. If the Raptors are playing a game, it's probably going to come down to the wire for some reason. So,
I mean, Jakob Pertl looks good.
oh yeah,
Even when tanking, I mean,
man,
he giving me 30 a night sometimes on fantasy. I mean,
he was not doing that when he was in San Antonio. I don't know what. I don't know why we traded Kawhi away for Jakob Pertl and DeMar DeRozan, and he just was not playing the way he is now. But
I mean,
other
he
than
just looks
that,
good now, and he's one of the brighter spots on the Raptors.
for sure. I guess we can move on and just kind of fly by the Sixers and Wizards.
Yeah,
They're bad.
then you got the Sixers. I mean, three and what? What do I got? 3-14 and 2-15 for the Wizards.
4-14 for the 76ers. They
Okay,
did
yeah, they
just
won
win.
tonight. They won tonight.
Yeah. So they got 4 wins. It's the Jared McCain show. That's all it really is. That is the only bright spot.
It
As good
is.
as
I mean,
as good as Tyrese Maxey is, he's not efficient whenever Joel Embiid's not out there. Paul George looks like possibly the worst pickup in the league in free agency after being hyped as the biggest free agent in the past couple years.
and he got the bag. They paid him the bag.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have their own first. They don't have their first round pick this year.
OKC is going to be receiving Cooper Flag.
Dude, don't say that. And then you got the Wizards, 2-15. Jordan Poole looks okay this year.
Jordan Poole's he's quietly had a bounce back year. I like seeing him play. They look fun. They're a fun team to watch. They're just not going to win if you're watching them.
Kuzma looks good.
Kuzma looks like the worst thing to happen to a basketball team and its development in years. He takes so many shots away from these really good young players.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad.
Kuzma
it's bad watching Kuzma play.
Ship out Kuzma for either some capital or a younger guy, a young player, or something.
Who wants Kyle Kuzma?
That's a good question.
Are we gonna see the Nuggets be desperate enough to pick up Kyle Kuzma to compete?
They might.
Aaron Gordon's out. Kyle Kuzma can cut and finish at the basket. He's athletic enough. He can probably shoot a little better than him.
Yeah. I mean,
he can't play defense.
I think they need to. We don't want to spend too much time on the Wizards, but I think they should really just trade off all the big pieces that really aren't going to be part of the rebuild. I mean, Kuzma's almost 30. I think he's 28. He's not going to be part of the rebuild. He's not part of the future. He's there. He's wasting his time. Trade him away, get some capital, get some younger guys, whatever it is, and just go full on rebuild. Jordan Poole's going to stay around a while. He's young. He's 23, 24, 25, somewhere in there. So,
I kind of like him on the team. I like him. I think he's a good. I think he's a good shot creator for them to have for the future.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing for the Wizards is they just got to get off Kuzma, get rid of him, go full rebuild, restart. You got some bright stars. You got Jordan Poole. You got Koulibaly on the Wizards. I think. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just had to make sure real quick. You got Koulibaly. I mean, you got Kispert, who doesn't look as good after getting paid. Shocking, but I mean, you still got Kispert. I mean, he's going to give you what you expect out of him. So
Alex Sarr has been up and down, but
yet he's on the
he's
team.
a rookie. He's a rookie. He's a rookie, and when he's up, he looks really good. He
Mm-hmm.
looks, he's playing center, which is something that nobody thought he would be doing. He wanted to play power forward and almost be Kevin Durant coming into the league, but I guess they knocked something into him and allowed him to play center. He's playing out of the post a lot. I like it. I like seeing it. Okay, so new All Star format, something
Mm-hmm.
we've never seen before. We are getting a 4-team tournament, 8 players per team, and we're getting a Rising Star team as a part of it. Which is the Rising Stars team also only going to be 8 slots now? Because it was 12 before.
I'm not sure when it comes to the Rising Stars team because if you look back at the last year, actually at the last couple of All Star games, there's been
Hmm.
multiple Rising Star teams. There's been like four
Hmm.
or five. When you look at it, there's like 4 different coaches, 4 different teams, full of. So I mean, they haven't really spoke much on it, but I would assume it's probably going to be an 8-player team, just like the other ones would be. But
That kind of sucks. That kind of sucks because now there's only 16 Rising Star players, where before we had 12 for the main teams, at least for the sophomores
mm-hmm,
and rookies, so that we would have 24.
mm-hmm,
But whatever. No, nobody really cares about the Rising Star team, anyways. Other than that, we're getting 4 All-Star teams with 8 players each, and they're doing pickup basketball, so it's ones and twos, which is something we've never seen before.
mm-hmm.
And I think, what was it, like a 40-point,
It's
40
the
point
first
limit?
two. The first two games are semifinals with the target
Mm-hmm.
score of 40 to win. So
Mm-hmm.
the Rising Star team versus one All Star team, and then the 2 other All Star teams will play each other, and both
Right.
teams will target score 40 to win. Which
Okay.
I like the idea. I like the fast paced pickup of it. It's
Mm-hmm. I mean,
short bursts, more competitive.
people have thrown out the idea of one-on-one games replacing the All-Star, and
Mm-hmm.
I think one-on-one would be cool, but I don't think replacing the All-Star game altogether with one-on-one games works.
No.
I do kind of like this. I'm excited to see this. I
Yeah.
liked when
No.
they brought the draft. I like when they
It's.
brought the draft in the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and I think bringing the draft back to a bigger extent now, because now you're going to have what, 4 team captains probably.
Some, yeah, I would assume probably something like that.
Uh,
Probably 2 west,
so,
2 east, maybe.
well, one of them would be
Oh,
Rising
All Star,
Star.
yeah, All Star,
Hmm.
Rising Star. So yeah, um, I like the like you said. It sounds fun. It sounds more competitive. Honestly, I
Hmm.
mean, uh, it's going to be real competitive for the younger guys. They want to make a name. They want to be
Hmm.
the one to beat LeBron in the All Star game. So I
I'm
mean,
excited to see. I'm excited to see how the Rising Stars shake out,
mm-hmm.
because I don't think Jared McCain's going to be making an All-Star team. But if the
Nah, maybe
rookies
not
beat
this
the
year.
sophomores in this, if the rookies beat the sophomores in this, we get to see Jared McCain play actual All-Stars in the game. And I doubt they play a lot of defense, but I also doubt that they want to be embarrassed by rookies. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah, I think
I think.
we're used
Go ahead.
to
Go ahead.
seeing non-competitive All-Star games.
Hmm.
The players are. I mean, in my opinion, I don't want to be that guy, but yeah, you got to where you are because of the talent you have, but you don't make the money you have. You don't get the platform you have. You don't get anything that you have without the fans. And so for
Hmm.
them to show up to the All-Star game and not perform or not put on a good show for the people
Hmm.
that quite literally pay them. I mean, it's been pretty bad. So I think this new format that they set up, I think it'll be interesting to see. I hope it works out. I hope it's more competitive. I hope there's a lot more defense. Defense is something that's always been. I mean, the cool shot, the alleys. It's cool, but most people want to see old fashioned all star competitive basketball. And so I mean that's me. That's what I want to see. So, but
Yeah, I think we were spoiled in 2020 and
Mm-hmm.
RIP, but I think we were spoiled with the Kobe death being like a big motivating factor behind these guys wanting to go out, wanting to compete, wanting to win that trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I don't think we're ever really going to get an all-star game that competitive again. And yeah, there's no real incentive for the players to go out there and put on a show beyond like giving the fans and giving the NBA a good product. This might
Yeah.
change that a little bit. I don't think they said there was like a cash prize or whatever at the end, but having smaller teams, having pickup game, it could just be more fun for the players playing in the first place. Maybe a more relaxed environment will lead to them ignoring the fact that it's an all-star game and almost treating it like a scrimmage or a practice and
Mm-hmm.
just going out there trying moves and somewhat trying on defense. I'm not expecting to see Anthony Davis go out there and try and swat every shot, but it'd be nice to see him
I
like
mean, yeah.
contest.
I think I think the biggest motivator is going to be that rising star team because
Oh yeah,
like we said,
nobody wants to
nobody
be
wants to
beat.
get bounced by the kids, pretty much.
Hmm.
Nobody wants to get bounced by the kids. So I think the
It's
biggest
gonna be
motivator for all of them will be the rising star team.
it's gonna
And
be Alex Sarr and Jared McCain out there running a pick and roll, and they're probably gonna cook a team because they're not gonna be expecting it. They're gonna think like, oh,
yeah,
it's the All Star game, whatever. No, not for these guys trying to make a name for themselves in the league. I'm excited to see it, and I say that like the sophomores aren't going to win that game. They might,
mm-hmm.
you know. The sophomore team is probably going to be the Thompson twins. Well, I guess one of them hasn't really played all that much, but
Yeah.
whichever one of them's on Houston has been killing it.
Uh, Almond? No, I
I,
don't
th-
know. They
I
both
think it's
start
a
with the
men.
A. They look the same.
Mm,
I don't know. But I mean,
I,
yeah. I mean, the only thing I think we pretty much touched on most of it, except for the final game. The finals is a to 20, which
yeah, yeah.
I don't know if I like that being to 20. If the semifinal is
That
40, I feel like the final should maybe be to 50. Because why would you
yeah the
shorten the
the
final?
the 20-point game is going to be like a 10-minute game at
Yeah,
best.
I
I mean,
mean,
even with ones and twos, we see guys put up 40 shots in the first quarter all the time now.
mm-hmm.
In
It
the
just
first quarter of games. So I think we're gonna hit that mark way sooner. I think it would make more sense if it was 20, win by two,
mm-hmm.
which it might be. I'm not sure, but we'll
it
see.
just it
Uh,
didn't make sense to me. Oh, sorry, wait,
yeah,
25 points, not 20. I have
not
25.
much, but it's not much
Not
better.
much difference, but I mean,
Yeah,
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 it just doesn't make sense to go from 40 in the semifinals to 25 in the finals. That's probably the only thing I'm not the biggest fan of it. I mean,
yeah.
like I said, we haven't seen it. It might end up being good, but
Hmm.
I think the biggest disappointment of it for me is the final score to win being 25 instead of 45 or 50. But I mean,
I think this is gonna be the
other than
first
that,
All Star. This is gonna be the first All Star I've tuned into since 2020. Like I haven't cared enough about the other ones.
really, the last one I tuned into honestly was in Charlotte, and I think the only reason I tuned into it was the J Cole halftime performance. uh, I'll be honest, I really only tuned in for the J Cole halftime performance. The All Star game to me, and honestly, it's just no more. Nobody tries basketball, baseball. I mean, I don't know about hockey; they're kind of dangerous over there, but but I mean, nobody's really competitive anymore. And these people that come to these games and pay all this money, they're writing your checks pretty much. You don't get without the endorsements, without all of it. And so I just think
Hmm.
a little bit more competitive, a little bit more rewarding to the fans who pay to see this. So that's really my biggest takeaway from it is I just want to see it be more competitive, and I
Yeah,
hope this fixes it, and I hope it's all so.
down, starting at my fifth place all the way up to my one. At fifth place, I have Shea Gilchrist Alexander. It's hard to
Okay.
say his last name. I think he's leading the second best team in the in the league, the best team in the West.
Mm-hmm.
I do think he suffers in the race from having just a stacked team of guys who are really good. You know, it doesn't help that J Dub is as good as he is. It does not help that when Chet is healthy, he is arguably a top five, top seven center in the league. But I definitely think
Mm-hmm.
Shea deserves a shout. Uh, and really, you could put him anywhere from 3 to 5 on this list. All my 3 to 5 guys are like throw them wherever, mix them up. At four, I have a tie between two teams that I look at pretty much the same when it comes to standings and competitiveness. I have Kevin Durant and Anthony Davis as my tied for fourth place. I don't
I
think
got
either
them
one of
at
their teams.
4 and 3.
I don't think either one of their teams makes the playoffs or is competitive without them. As good as
Mm-hmm.
LeBron is and as good as Booker is, without Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant, those teams just aren't going to be competitive and aren't going to win anything out west.
Mm-hmm. We've already seen that this season, especially with the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
Without KD,
Mm-hmm.
they just fall apart. So.
My third place, backpacking this team into being a decent team at all. I have Giannis. I think he's putting up very good numbers. I think he's fallen off in MVP talks. He's kept a couple of years because of voter fatigue and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I think he deserves a shout. I think there's multiple seasons in the past where he could have won the MVP with the season he's having, but the top two guys are just too good to ignore.
Mm-hmm.
I have Jason Tatum at my number two. He's the best player on the best team in the league. He's putting up MVP numbers. He is really bouncing back from the finals and then from not playing in the Olympics whatsoever and having I think arguably he's the second best player in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
And of course one is Jokic. I mean,
Yeah, it's got to be.
it's a
I mean,
30-point triple double. He's got everything you need to win an MVP this season. He has the history, he's got the ring from in the past, and he is backpacking a team with ridiculous numbers.
mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the whole reason that LeBron won 2 MVPs in Miami was because he was the best player on the best team. Uh, I think Jokic is getting more of a Westbrook MVP right now, where it's like this dude is putting up these ridiculous numbers on a team that is nothing without him. We can't ignore
Mm-hmm.
that. You know, whatever seed they end up being, I think he ends up taking home the MVP.
All right. Well, we got pretty much similar list, except I don't have Shea on mine. I have
Really?
I got Giannis at 5, and
Okay.
maybe it's a little biased for me. I got Giannis at 5. I know he's putting up 32 a game on almost 12 rebounds and almost 7 assists, but
Mm.
I think I don't want to say he's stat padding, but the team doesn't look that great. And so, I mean, what else are you going to do besides feed Giannis? So, I mean, I got him at 5. I do have
Mm.
KD above him. It's a little biased. I'm a Suns fan, so it's a little biased,
I
but
get it.
I think KD has a case, especially without him on the floor, how bad the
Mm-hmm.
Suns, and then you get KD back and they look excellent.
I think the biggest issue against KD this season is going to be whether or not he hits the 65 games.
Mhm. He's missed 7, I think, this season now,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he missed. I don't remember how many he missed last year, but I know he's missed, I believe, 7 this season. But like I said, I give him the edge over the Bucks. I mean, over Giannis, just because of I'm a Suns fan, and that's just how I am. But
Yeah,
like I said, he looks good when he's on the court. When he's on the court, the Suns look great. The whole team looks great. KD makes the whole team look great. So At 3, I got AD putting
Okay.
up 29, 11. He's doing what you want. He took a leap, or not a big leap, but he took the leap he needed to take to lead to be for the Lakers to be his team. You know, everybody. It's always been LeBron's team, but I think now it's
I think
AD's.
officially, it's officially Anthony Davis's team.
It's his team.
Yeah.
He's putting up the numbers to prove it. I mean, averaging almost what I got 29 a game. I mean, you got to give him some credit. You got to give him out there. I mean, he's I don't want to say backpacking, but I mean he's doing everything in his power to keep this team in the playoffs. I mean, they're not bad, but if you don't have honestly, if we don't have AD on this team right now, the Lakers aren't in the playoffs or not in top 8. So you got to give AD his flowers, I guess. And then at 2, I got Tatum. We both had Tatum at 2. It's kind of hard to not put Tatum at 2. 28,
Best
8,
player
and
on the best
6.
team, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's not really much to say about Tatum. He's Tatum. He's gonna do what he does. He's great. He's amazing. It's Tatum. And then
I think if he was playing like this last season, he could have gotten it. He could have gotten it over Jokic, but he wasn't. So.
And then we all got Jokic at 1. Almost.
If you don't have Jokic at your 1, you're tripping. Like
averaging
there's
a
nobody
30-point triple double. Like you got to have Jokic at 1 just for the sheer fact that he's averaging a 30-point triple double, and that he's got his team where they are right now. Because without Jokic on the floor, they don't look good, and they're 10-7,
not at all.
averaging a 30-point triple double. I mean, he's going for the third MVP. He's gonna get the third MVP. Rizzler. He's gonna get the third MVP. So, I mean, I think it's case closed at this point. There really isn't no debating it. He's gonna get it, but it's fun to debate it.
It's early into the season, man, but I don't see anybody else overtaking this. It's like the DPOY last year. Rudy came out the gates swinging and never gave anybody else an opportunity to really crack the door and get into that conversation other than Wemby. So, maybe we see Shea just pick it up at some point and go ballistic and average 35 and, do Shea things, or we see Tatum average 40 over a month and people are like, oh my God, is he going to be? It's Jokic.
It's got to be Jokic. I mean, like you said, I don't see anybody stop it. I definitely don't see him. The only way something happens is if Jokic gets injured. I mean,
Jokic is kind of an Iron Man.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Even at that point, even if he does get injured, he doesn't really miss a lot of games. And I'm sure he's played through injury before. So, I mean, unless it's something crazy.
He'll get hurt and he'll go out for like 2-3 games and come back and he goes right back into it.
It's that European blood.
I want to play basketball.
I want to play basketball and ride my horses.
I like basketball. I'm not big enough. I'm not small enough to be jockey. So I play basketball to play jockey.
But yeah, so I mean.
Hey, man. Isaiah Thomas is looking for a job. And Jokic probably needs a new horse jockey. So.
Which Isaiah Thomas is he getting, though, for the horse jockey? We getting MVP season Isaiah Thomas?
Don't make me cry. I miss that.
All right, well, I think we should go ahead and wrap it up here.
Yeah.
All right.
It was a good first episode. I think I like it.
This was good.
We get to.
You guys, get the jitters out.
Everybody out there who sees this, follow us on socials at Court Chronicles Pod or at Court Chronicles, one of the two. We've got a TikTok, we've got an Instagram, we got a Twitter. So go out there.
But yeah, we got whatever it is, whatever we're on, or whatever you got, we're probably on it. First podcast, I think we did pretty well. I mean, got the jitters out, but we should be dropping every Sunday. I would assume. I
would like that. Yeah, I think every Sunday we could do one.
Every Sunday, all right.
Every Sunday we drop. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there should be a new episode every Sunday. This will be the first one. So we don't really got to sign off, but we'll figure that one out.
Comment, see, let us know what we could do better, or we'll be looking for
Let
tips.
us know where to improve at. Anything you think that would help us out. So, like I said, we don't really got an outro, but we'll see you next Sunday. How about that? That'll work for now. We'll see you next Sunday.